Hello, everybody. My name is Corey Rosen, and you're listening to the Story Podcast. Today, we have on a super returning guest, Mr. Rich Ruoff. Rich was born in Philly. However, his family moved to Lancaster when he was 4. Since then, Rich has left his mark on Lancaster from owning his own venue, the esteemed Chameleon Club. Another was starting the famed local festival, Lancaster Roots and Blues, which will be going on this coming September 27th through 29th, all over Lancaster City. 11 different venues and a bunch of fun, 70 bands. Should be a lot of fun. Rich is also the president of the recording studio, Lizard Studios, which has won a Grammy Award. Most recently, you acquired the Village Nightclub and are going to open that as well in September on the 20th.
Hi. Yes, I did. I am, and I will. And
And thanks for having me.
yeah. Thanks for having me. Hi, Corey. How you doing?
Good, man. So, it's been about 2 years since I've had you on the show last.
Yes.
And tell me what's all been going on. You've done a lot of stuff in that time.
Well, yeah. Actually, I took a year off from the festival last year in 2023. And then we moved from the suburbs into the city again, which I always love living in Lancaster City. And then I've reactivated Lancaster Roots and Blues. We're bringing it back, of course, this month. And as also, I was approached to be the general manager of the Village Nightclub. An out-of-town investment group acquired it. Originally, they were going to do something else with the property, but they decided to reopen it. And I've been asked to do it. And so we've been renovating it over the course of the summer here. And we expect to open on September 20th, so a week before the festival. First weekend, we're just going to do DJs. And then, so the first live music will be Lancaster Roots and Blues. So
There you go.
yeah.
So, the Village is different from the Chameleon Club, and like we were talking before the show, I'm not from Lancaster. I'm not a Lancaster native, so I'm not familiar with the Chameleon Club. But tell me what's the difference between then and now? You started the Chameleon Club so long ago, and now you're
Right. Well, any venue, it's going to have the imprint of the person running it as far as how it gets, managed, how it gets programmed. So I think you'll feel some of the same things that I used to do at Chameleon Club. And it's going to be a combination of live music, certainly some national artists from time to time, and some of the best local regional bands. And then we'll also be doing DJ music, dance music. We have a variety of good DJs on the hook. So it's going to just be a mixture. The venues were actually similar in size. Chameleon Club could hold about 700. The Village is actually a capacity of 730.
okay.
But the Chameleon, like another club in town, Tellus 360, was a 3-story venue.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. And it was long and thin, like Tellus.
Like tell us, yeah.
But the Village is a 1-story venue, and it's wide. And it's interesting, for the main room, there's no bad sightlines. You can see the band from every corner. It's really
That's
cool.
nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah.
So, what kind of renovations have you been putting in? What's going to be different?
Well, that's a good question. If you've been there before, and most people who've grown up in Lancaster and are over the age of, say, 23 have been there once or twice, if not a whole lot more. The basic layout is the same. That we didn't move any bars, but we made the stage bigger. We brought it out a couple feet. It'll allow us to land some bigger national artists.
Right.
Excuse me. And the Village has, it's been there a long time. It's been in that building since 1970. And the original partners, John and Pete, opened the first Village in 1953. So the family kept running it even after they passed. And so they had over 70 years as the Village. And they closed in 2022. But towards the end, there wasn't much, renovation going on.
Right.
Typically when you run a large venue, there's constant work. And
Right.
they were getting, towards the end, they were getting tired, I suppose. And I understand that, running Chameleon. And we'll see how long it takes me to get tired of this one. But so it was definitely ready for a rejuvenation, and that's the best way to describe what we're doing. Painting, lighting, new sound, all new light systems, new point of sale system. A little more in the decor. Oh, and I built in the back room, which used to had a couple pool tables. We built a new lizard lounge, which I had created over at the Chameleon Club. Now that the Chameleon's closed, I just thought, well, you know what? I'll do my own Lizard Lounge over here. So it's there's a little stage we built back there. So we'll be able to do more intimate shows in the back, and maybe even the occasional, I don't know, house DJ or something. But it's definitely a loungy feel. There's some couches and some cool seating areas. Or even on a big night when there's a big show up front in the main stage, it's a nice area if you want to go back and talk to your friends or your date. It'll be a little quieter back there. So, yeah.
And is that something that's going to be open to the public?
Oh yeah.
Cool. So last time we kind of talked about the Chameleon Club and why you got tired of that. So what made you want to get back into the business?
Because, I think it's like women who have babies. They have one and they're, I'm never doing that again. And then a year later they're going, I'm ready for another one. It was an exhausting experience by the end of running Chameleon. I ran it for 17 years. But this was a fresh opportunity. The Village is an iconic venue.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've learned more, having run Lancaster Roots and Blues, and of course my memories of running Chameleon, and other shows and things that I put on over the years. And also, it's not like I'm not the owner of the building. I'm working for somebody.
Gotcha.
So it takes some pressure off me to have to answer every possible question. But so I was excited by the opportunity in it. And I didn't think I would be, but I was, and I still am. So here we are.
What, if you had your choice, what bands would you like to bring into the Village?
Oh, wow.
That's a hard question.
That's a really hard question. And, you never know, because one of the ways we succeed, at least I succeeded at Chameleon, is we would get what we call bands that are on tour.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're coming to the East Coast for whatever reason, and they're doing Boston and New York and Washington, D.C. and Richmond. And so we'll catch what's called a routing date. They wouldn't normally play a market as small as Lancaster, but because we can catch them on an off night for their tour, and we can do any of 7 nights. So that's the hook. So I don't know who's available at any given time. So we'll get calls. And, I'll say, oh, yeah, I didn't even think about those guys, but they'd be a good fit for this town or this club, and I'll try it. And so we could end up with some really big shows, but I can't guess who that will be at this point. Yeah.
So here's a question. You're mentioning bands that might not have a market here in Lancaster. Where do you think the partnership between the band marketing and then you marketing meet? Because some venues do it really, really well. Some venues don't do it very well at all. And where's the balance between your end of the marketing deal versus the band's end of the marketing deal?
Well, that's a great question. I think I changed the market in Lancaster, or really what could happen in a small town, by driving the marketing of the music. So I book the bands, we put out the monthly schedule, and we push the whole schedule, and we push it hard. And of course, it will be a website, it'll be social media, and we will do all that. The bands. That's a good question. Like when I do the Lancaster Roots and Blues Festival, like we have 70 bands this year, I believe, and it's a combination of nationals, regionals, and locals. And it is funny to like the nationals. All the established bands are really good. They have social media components. They have their own advertising. They are ready. Like
they're pretty covered.
Yeah, they'll have quality videos on YouTube, and by quality I mean they didn't just have somebody with a iPhone film them for 30 minutes at a local pub.
Right, they had a camera crew and everything.
And with no editing, and
right,
and just posted up there with bad sound and shaky film. So like that. The difference between a pro band and a local band. Sometimes I book some local bands I really like, and we get them into the festival, and I create a web page for every band.
That's right.
And I put a lot of effort into it. And we'll do 4 or 5 photos of the bands, and we resize them and make them look good. We'll post a couple of their best videos. We'll post their bio, and we'll link to their web page, their social media, Facebook, Instagram, and again, sometimes these local bands, they don't have any photos, or they have a photo they took 10 years ago and half the people in the band are different. and they'll send me one photo, and it's not even something that's good. Like you can't even work with it as far as photoshopping it. Or they don't have videos to link to, or they haven't even created a bio. And I'm thinking, whether you play at the Village or your local bar or the VFW or a bigger festival, if you're a local band and you're even semi-serious about actually getting work, you should at least have enough material to present yourself well.
100%.
A handful of photographs and a combination of portrait and landscape, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be totally professional. I mean, you can do stuff with iPhones, but you got to do it. Yeah, you have to. Somebody has to take the time to do it. You can pose in your studio, your rehearsal hall. You can pose live. They can take live photos. And then even a video to take your best songs. Just, have somebody film your 2 best songs with a still camera, like on a tripod, or somebody with a steady hand, and edit it down. A 3-minute and 50-second song is perfect. Somebody downloads it to YouTube, and then when you're trying to get work, share those links to whoever you're trying to get to book you. Also write a bio about the band. Hey, we are the Whiskey A Go-Go Band. And we play, rockabilly meets polka. And, that's our wheelhouse. We're a 5-piece band, and this is the members. And we're based out of Podunk, but
get Quentin Jones to do rockabilly polka.
There you go. So, yeah, I mean, but at least, so you're telling people what you're doing or what you're trying to do. You're encouraging them to come see you. So that's what I expect from a band, to have a little minimum of, why should I, as a promoter,
have to do that work?
Yeah, care about you if you don't even care about you.
Exactly.
And I mean, how do I sell you to people, to the public, if you can't even get yourself excited to present yourself well?
No, I agree. I think every band that at least is wanting to gig needs to have an electronic press kit.
Yeah.
Like you said, minimum of 5 different photos, preferably in different venues and different areas.
Yeah.
If not, that's fine.
Right.
You can always build upon that.
Right.
At least 1 or 2 videos, decent quality videos of you playing or anything else.
Right.
Right. And then a bio that says who you are. You don't even have to give your names out. You just say who you are, where you're from, what you play, and what your music is like.
Right.
And that's about it.
And if you're a leader of a band that only has a core group of people, maybe you're the leader and you always have a rotating cast of musicians.
Sure.
Maybe you don't mention that. You just say you're a 4-piece band or a 5-piece band fronted by.
Yeah.
And then you give your name and then you talk about it. Because I understand, especially at the lower levels where the money is inconsistent, it's hard to get people to commit to playing every single gig. Right. And maybe you land a short notice gig and you have to bring in a backup bass player or a different drummer. So that happens. But yeah.
So speaking about Roots and Blues, let's kind of get into it. You took a year hiatus from that, and now you're back, better than ever.
We're back. I mean, I think I booked a good festival, but I always think that. So, it's a fun festival. It's a variety of bands, so there's something for everybody. And we certainly have some great national artists coming in. We have bands coming from Canada and England and France and Ireland.
That's really cool. Is that a first for you guys?
No, we've been doing international bands every year since the thing started. Yeah, and that's
awesome.
Yeah. So, and I'm confident the quality is there, but it's constantly, the nature of Roots and Blues. There's the hardcore followers of the genre, and they're going to know a lot of what we're doing, and they're going to be excited to see what we're doing. But part of what makes this festival work is more casual fans who don't follow the genres, just coming out and trying it, and they have fun. And they're always like, "Wow, that was cool," and the energy. You're at one venue, and then you get done with a show, or you want to move on and go see somebody else. as you're passing people in the street, because all the venues are close together, like 3 blocks apart. And people are talking about who they saw, and you can talk about who you saw, and you're bumping into people you know, and it's just fun, especially at like the food trucks or different
And
venues.
the local shops in Lancaster are always open too.
Oh yeah, no. So it's a big economic driver for the community.
Yeah, no, it's really wonderful.
Yeah.
How long do you think? How long does this take you to plan? There's 70 bands. You got to reach out to so many people and then decide a date out of.
It's a year-long process, because first you got to secure your venues, and then you got to start figuring out who's going to play what, and sometimes months away the agent's not ready to commit to a specific day, but they'll block out the weekend, and then as they start filling in around that, then they'll say, hey, can we have the Friday or the Saturday or the Sunday?
Right.
But so I'm constantly moving stuff around, and
So, and you mentioned that this is something I saw that you wrote, or there was an LMP article about you that maybe you were interested in maybe selling it off or not doing it for so much longer.
Well, I have an interested party, and actually, I was some other parties that want to talk to me. I don't have deep pockets, and
right.
I ran this thing through my wife's cancer, and then I ran it again through COVID, and we got creamed. Just and it doesn't take much. It's a shift of 1,000 people, and you go from making money to losing money.
Right.
And when you're talking a festival, they should be doing 10,000 people, and you do 5,000 people. It can be quite difficult to manage. But the long-term prognosis of the festival is strong and healthy. And I think it needs to be even bigger than it is. The town can handle it. We have enough venues.
Can handle it, yeah.
We have enough logistics of parking. There's enough hotels in the county all in, and bed, Airbnbs and such, that we can handle 10,000 people a day. And I'd love to see it get to that level, but I need a partner or an owner who understands it and understands and who is willing to learn what's involved to play at that level. And it's just somebody with deeper pockets than me. I had the initial round of investors like 10 years ago, and they certainly helped get this thing going. But for the last 5 years, I've been funding the entire thing myself. And I'm not a rich man, so but it takes money up front to make it all happen.
Right.
And if an entity, a business, or just a investor or group of investors who would like to give it a whirl, I'd love to have that conversation. And I'm willing to, not just willing to, I would love to keep running it for whoever owns it. But, that'll depend on who the owner is and what they want to do. I mean, maybe they want to just take it over themselves, or maybe they just want me to stick around for a year to help in the transition. I look at all those things, because we have 10 years into this thing. It's got a good reputation. It's got a good, it takes a long time to build up that, and to just let it die would be bad. And I don't want to just run it along at the low level I'm at. I'd like to really see it explode, and I think it could. So
I think so too.
Yeah,
I really did enjoy it. Last time we did, what was it? 2023 was the last one? No, 2022.
2022.
Yeah.
So that's when I talked to you last, I think.
That's right.
As far as here, yeah.
Is it still going to be the main spot in the Marriott?
No, we switched hotels this year. The Holiday Inn has been a big supporter all along, and they've been begging us to come over there and make us their main spot. And so we're trying that this year. So we have 2 stages there this year, the Grand Ballroom and the Imperial Blue Ballroom. And, of course, they have that beautiful deck outside overlooking the square.
Yeah, it's a really nice spot.
Yeah.
I was there the first time. Last time I was like, I can't believe this is in Lancaster. This is nice.
And then a couple other new venues we're using this year. We're doing Marion Court for a couple days. That's right behind the hotel.
That's right.
And it's an outdoor venue, but they have the ability, if weather changes, to roll a roof over the stage in the public area. Yeah. So, and late September, the temperature should be great.
That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, you get some fresh air. And so we're excited to have them on board. We're back at Tellers 360. We're at Zootropolis.
Mm-hmm.
Another new venue for us this year is the Moose Lodge on Water Street, same block as Zootropolis.
Really? Okay.
I didn't know. I knew that it was there, but I didn't know they had a stage. And this year they reached out to me and they said, hey, if you're going to do this, come take a look at our stage. So I went down and I looked at it, and it's another classic social hall, PA social hall, Pennsylvania social hall. And we're going to do some cool shows in there. We're back at the Elks, which is, people love that room. It's another old social hall.
It's a nice room.
Yeah, big stage, big room.
So where the jam is going to be this year too.
The jam. We do the midnight jam every year on Saturday night late.
That's right.
And so it's a lot of the invited artists from the festival. So it's a really high quality jam. And then that's run by Bobby Gentilla from Columbia.
That's right. No.
Yep.
He's right down the street.
Yep. Right Coast Recording.
Yeah, I was a part of that. The one he invited me up on the stage to play piano.
Yeah. I saw. I had your photos actually on our website.
Oh, is it?
If you click on the 2022 photo gallery, you're in there.
I'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I have thousands of photos to put up from all the years, because we use professional photographers every year. And it's such a process because I'm always doing other stuff. But I have like 3 or 4 years up, and so eventually I'll put all the photos up, all the good ones. Because it's not only do you have to size it so it looks good on the website, but then I like to add data, enter who took the photo, the name of the artist, the name of the venue, the year.
I just recently took up photography for like bands and stuff. And it's a process.
Yeah.
So much stuff to do. Not only have to like edit the photos, but
sure,
I got to find the right spots to take photos of the people.
Yeah.
But I've been really enjoying it. I've been really, really enjoying it.
Well, I work with some really good photographers, because it is an art form to know how to do live photography.
100%.
Because the lighting's usually dicey or just
it's
different.
Not great.
Yeah. But these guys are good. Men and women they're really good photographers. So it's fun to have them come back every year and do it. And they're going to come this year too. But we were talking about venues. Oh, of course the Village, and which is a big venue. So it'll be our main stage this year.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and we'll do a few shows back in the Lizard Lounge too, like between sets. And then we have the poster art, which I don't know. Do you have that electronically, or are you just going to hold it up?
Oh, I got it right here.
There you go. Anyway.
There it is.
Yeah. So that's done by a guy named Tim Ellis, who used to work for me at Chameleon Club back in the 80s. He was a young guy, but he was always a good artist. And then he finally moved to L.A., and he's actually has success out there.
Well, that's awesome.
And he started doing a music series. I think partly influenced by the fact that he used to work at Chameleon Club. And I saw some of his work, so I ended up using one of his pieces. That's John Coltrane.
That's right.
And for this year's poster. So he's a successful artist, and he has a whole slew of work. He does sculptures and print, and fine art. He is doing a show at Lancaster's newest and biggest art gallery, the Art Vault.
Really?
Yeah, that's our opening VIP party this year. And he's flying in. He's already has all his stuff's on display there right now. It's displaying in September and October. Actually, it doesn't open until I think next weekend. As far as the I think it opens on First Friday. So you can see it at any point. And it's a music themed show. It's not just his work.
Right.
There's a couple other really good artists, and there'll be a jazz band and a whole bit. And then also Saturday afternoon, they're doing a public opening, so you don't have to have a VIP ticket.
Right.
And a jazz band is playing that as well. So Al Moretti, who's a jazz musician, who's also an artist, so his art will be on display, and he's playing his own
that's so cool.
show. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then Sunday morning, we're still finishing off the venues here. We're doing a show at the Southern Market, which is where all the food buffet stands
right
are.
in Town Square.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have a jazz band in there, the Dave Wilson Quartet. And that's another VIP party, though it's open to the general public. It's a general admission thing, but the VIPs get a complimentary mimosa on Sunday morning for the brunch. So we call it a VIP brunch. So
I'm just looking at the bands here. Some of them I've had on the show, actually. Leo DeSanto, that's
Leo's
a fun show.
Leo's a great musician. I've known him since the 90s, yeah.
Bjorn Jacobson and Robin Chambers.
Yeah.
That's going to be a killer one to go out. If you like local bands, that one's going to be a killer one to go to.
Sure.
Rocket 88.
Yep.
That one's going to be a fun one. And there's a lot of these I haven't even heard of. But the Killman Saints, obviously. The Killman Saints are going to be there.
Yep.
The Ogham Stones.
Yep. So some good Irish bands. Yep.
Some really good Irish bands. That's right.
Yeah.
Trey Alexander.
Trey Alexander band, phenomenal guitar player.
Phenomenal guitarist.
Local guitar hero, literally a nationally acclaimed guitar player.
Yeah, no, me and him have been just going by each other all the time, trying to get each other on the show.
Okay.
It's so funny. This is really cool.
So the Rocket 88, I'll give you some history there.
Sure.
He's a harmonica player, Dr.
Right.
Harmonica.
Yep, Dr. Harmonica. Delaware Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer.
Yep, and so he's been playing since high school, like a lot of guys do. And his first guitar player was a guy named George Thorogood. So George Thorogood and the Destroyers. So
okay, that's what I recognize that name.
And then his next guitar player was a young guy named Tommy Conwell. So Tommy Conwell and the Young Realmers came out of that band, which they signed with Columbia Records, and they were cover of Rolling Stone and the whole bit. And it just goes on and on. So he's just like, if you played in the blues band with Dr. Harmonica, Rocket 88, it was like getting schooled on how to put on a great concert. And like everybody who's ever played with him has gone on to bigger success. It's just fun and he's just a great guy. So.
He's a great guy. Yeah. Quentin Jones has his rock and roll showcases or something.
Right.
And he has them over there every now and then.
Yeah. Poor Dr. Harmonica. His name's Mark, actually. Mark Keneally.
Yeah, Mark, yep.
About 2 years ago, he was walking down the street, and I guess a puppy, I don't know if it was one of his relatives' puppies, but it ran out in the road, and he ran out to protect it, and he saved the dog from getting hit, but he stumbled into the car, so he got hit by a car.
Oh, no.
And so now he sits
That's what happened, yeah.
He sits in a chair while he plays harmonica, but it's phenomenal. So
yeah, no, it is a really good show.
Yeah.
100%. I'm really excited for that one too. And I saw Jimmy Adler he's from over from Pittsburgh. Right?
Yep. Yeah. Jimmy Adler's like the go-to blues band from Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw him last time. They were at Telus last time.
Yeah.
What a show.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really excited for this.
Here, give me that list. I can go through.
Yeah, go through it.
All right. So I'll just I mean, if you want to know who's coming, I won't read it all. It's a big list.
Sure, it is a big list.
I'll do some of the cool bands. Bywater Call is coming from Toronto, Canada, and they've been playing all over, Europe and North America. Great band. CJ Chenier is a Zydeco band out of Louisiana. And if you've never seen a Zydeco band live, it's so much energy and so much fun. And they play, some people call it the washboard. I think the French word for it, or the Creole word for it, is frottier. So,
right.
And then we're doing Charlie Appicello and Juma Sultan. Charlie is like an award-winning jazz guitarist out of New York, and Juma Sultan, Juma, I guess it is. He played with Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock. He's a percussionist.
Wow.
And he was really young back then, and now he's been touring the world ever since. Great jazz, mostly congas, and but really good at it. We're doing the Cinelli brothers out of London. They just were named Britain's best blues band.
Oh, wow.
And in that same run, if you go back, other bands that were named Britain's best blues band included the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin.
Yep.
So these guys are good. And the Cinelli brothers are actually two guys from Italy, but for some reason they live in London. Their drummer is French, and their bass player is from England.
Isn't that funny how that works?
Yeah. Jimmy Vivino, he was Conan O'Brien's band leader for years and years. Yeah, he's coming.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Marsha Ball, who first played for me at the Lizard Lounge at Chameleon Club 30 years ago when she was young. She's like a kind of a boogie woogie piano player, and she's just class. It's a class act, so she's coming back. Morgan James, of course, is a phenomenal singer. And I can go on and on. Oh, I know. Chad Taylor. He's local. He's a guitar player. Used to be in a band called Live. Yeah. And he's got a new project called Chad Taylor and Friends.
Yep.
And I like it. He's it's stylistically different than Live, the rock band. It's I would say there's a little bit of Johnny Cash thrown into that mix.
Okay.
And he pulls it off. And so we're excited to have him. And it goes on, but I encourage you to take a look at the website, Lancaster.
It's got it all, band by band, page by page.
Yep, and you can, scroll around and have fun and see who you want to see.
100%.
Yeah.
Should be a fun weekend.
Yeah.
What is it? 185 for the whole weekend?
I think the price right now, I should have looked at the ticket price. I think it's can you?
Yeah, we could pull it up right now.
Yeah. Because you think I would know this offhand.
It's okay. I know it went up a little bit in May, right?
Yeah,
Tickets on sale.
I think it's on sale right now. Let's see, tickets.
1 day is $69.
Yep.
And then 2 day is $129. 3 day is $149.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go. So.
And the 3 day VIP is only $300.
Right.
It's not that bad.
Yeah. There you go. I like the attitude. So everybody should buy one.
That's right. Every single one of you go through. And that can be found at Lancaster Roots and Blues .com.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, just type in Lancaster Roots and Blues. It'll take you to the website, and you can click on ticketing and see all the artists.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for that, and also you have a playlist there too, which I saw yesterday. You got a playlist of an amalgamation of the bands.
Yeah, if you click on the artist, or I'm sorry, the venues.
Yes.
And then you click on a particular venue, you can roll down, or there's just a general the playlist for the schedule. Yeah. The times and
I think
the
it's
venues.
Really cool, really smart marketing.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of effort goes into making this web page, and I think we're among the very best in all the festivals in America. Yeah,
I would say so. This is a festival I look forward to, when I first learned of it.
Yeah,
I was looking forward to it last year. You didn't do one last year, but I'm looking forward to this one and ones in the future.
I should give credit to a local company, Connective, Mark Reinmiller's company. They're the ones who they're like my marketing company, my social media stuff, and they've created the website. I do all the data entry, of course,
right?
But they're the ones who tie it all together. So,
well, what else you've got going? You got. That's pretty much it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's enough. I mean, running the festival is a big deal, and running the village, I've been slow and booking much beyond this first month because I want to make sure we get open. It's always a stressful period. I actually this is now the third time I'm opening a club, and Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board can be challenging.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, the license has been transferred legally, but it's in what's called safekeeping, and we just want to make sure we get it out in time to actually open the doors on time. So
it's hard to have a venue without a liquor license.
That's my stress point at this point. So, but yeah, if everything goes smoothly, we should be open on the 20th. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, looking on 5-10 years in the future, where would you like to be?
Relaxed. It's funny. Through COVID, and actually after deciding not to do the festival this year, I was pretty chilled out. But to the point that I was kind of bored. I think I watched everything that was on Netflix. And I'm like, this. And then at the same time, I decided to bring the festival back. Then I got the Village opportunity. And I'm like, oh, that kind of doubles my workload. But it's exciting. I have good energy. And I think it's because it is exciting. So it's just, logistics times 10. Trying to make everything happen at once. And trying to figure out how to finance everything. But we're getting there, and the end result should be fun for everybody.
Are you still looking for people to hire at the Village?
We will be hiring some people. We'll do, some serving staff, some security, bartenders. So if you, I like to hire people who are enthusiastic fans of music. I think that was a consistent pattern when I ran Chameleon. I did hire some people who just were knowledgeable at what they did, but by the end, they were total fans of music, and they got turned on to so many different kinds of bands that they loved working there. I still, to this day, I have people who worked for me, 20, 30, 25 years ago, 35 years ago, and they said it's the best job they ever had. And these are people that went on to work, really good careers, but they have fond memories of working at Chameleon. And I think we'll generate that same energy and positive vibe at the Village.
There you go.
Yeah.
So out of all of your years, I'm not sure if I asked you these questions last time, but I'm going to ask you again. Where is one area that you would like to improve in when it comes to like general managing, putting together shows and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, the goal always, and even back then, it was always, the show was the thing. Like you're focusing on, well, even if it's a DJ night, but like everything, you want everything to pull off smoothly for the customer. So they walk through the door, and if you say the band is hitting at 8 o'clock, they should hit at 8 o'clock.
Right.
We try and, like, one of the things we did at the Chameleon, so the Village. See, I'll do that. I'll make mistakes. One of the things we did at the Village is, they have some old dressing rooms, and at the Chameleon we had old dressing rooms too, and they were never maintained that well. We just renovated both our dressing rooms here, and they're nice. The nicest dressing rooms I've ever been involved with, and it doesn't seem like much for the public, but if you're a band that's on the road and you're playing venue after venue, night after night, and you can come into a dressing room and it's clean and there's a bathroom and there's a sink and there's refrigeration and a coffee pot and a microwave and fresh towels, that makes a big difference for the band.
100%.
They're only at the venue for a few hours, but like if they're stuck back, in a kitchen storage closet sitting on a case of pickles,
Right.
it's
They might not want to come back to that venue.
yeah, it's not a pleasurable experience for them. So in that sense, that's the kind of behind the scenes stuff. Like I said, we made the stage bigger, so it makes it easier for the bands to do a good show, especially for the bigger bands. We'll have a whole new sound system installed. Roger Fitzwater, he's a local sound man, and he's really good, and he's putting in the whole new system. We're gonna have a video wall behind the stage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it won't be a projector; it'll literally be a video wall. So we'll be able to do cool effects behind there.
That's really cool. So like LED, like light wall. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and even on dance nights, the dance floor we just put all. I mean, of course, it's a lighted dance floor, which is a relic from the 70s.
It is a relic, but
if you think of Saturday Night Fever, it's the same kind of dance floor.
Oh wow!
And it's funny, when I first got a chance to take over the Village, everybody, and I was thinking of even covering it, but everybody from like old people to young people, like people who've never even been to the Village, said, "Oh, you got to keep the dance floor," because everybody wants to see it. Like, it's like the memorable part of it.
It's nostalgia. It's
yeah. So, but we put hardwood on the stage. New hardwood, and it's bigger. So obviously some bands like carpeting, so we'll have area carpet that we throw down for them. But then we can roll that up, and you'll be able to dance on the stage and the dance floor for dance nights. So that's going to be fun.
That'll be so fun.
Yeah.
So out of all the things that you've done, what are some of the biggest mistakes that maybe you've made or you've seen other people make in this industry? How can we curb that?
Well, I mean, every time you do a show and no one shows up, you have to analyze it.
Right.
Why did no one show up? Was I wrong? Did the band suck? And did the whole world know about it except me?
Or a holiday weekend?
Yeah. But I've done some shows where like there's 3 people in the room and it's one of the best bands we ever did. So it's, if you're pretty confident in your booking and it happens. So then you have to ask yourself, did I promote it well enough? Like, did we get the word out? Did no one know about it? Or did they not understand? Like, did we not put enough description in of what the band might be like? And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe no one likes this style of music, So you're always second guessing or trying to analyze so you don't make the same mistakes again. And then sometimes you just get hit from left field. Like, you just don't know. Like, it's a weather event, could be driving rain, storms, hurricanes. And that's just the luck of the draw. And you have to expect throughout a season or a year that you're going to just have some nights you're going to get creamed by weather. Or, I remember we had a really popular band one time when Penn State was playing for the national championships in football. Well, nobody came while this band was there. As soon as Penn State won, then people just poured into the bar. Like, they was in a good mood.
Yeah.
I'm guessing if they had lost, it would have been slower, but everybody's in a good mood and everybody wants to go, let's go see a band. And then they all came out at once. But, those are outside influences. Or,
I wouldn't have even thought of that, but you're right.
Yeah, big concert, comes up against you, like something up at Hershey or at the Link in Philadelphia, even though it's like a different market, it affects the amount of people.
From Lancaster,
It does.
yeah.
It takes a percentage of people that would otherwise come to your club show. So, a frustrating point for me would be like, there's some good local venues. There's us, there's Phantom Power, there's Zootropolis, there's Tellus, Mickey's Black Box, the Shirt Factory in Lidditz. Everybody's trying to do some cool shows, and people complain, oh, it's a $5 cover, it's a $10 cover, it's a $15 cover. And then somebody like Taylor Swift, who's a wonderful artist, but they will mortgage their house to buy a pack of tickets to go see her. I'm like, that's crazy. You could be going out regularly for a quarter of one of those
cheaper.
tickets. Yeah, like year round, And so my goal is to bring back, I think live music went through a down, like it cycles up and down in popularity. I think we're in a rough spot.
I think so too.
I think there's a whole generation of younger people where going to see a band is not in their lexicon. It's not part of their.
Especially because we just came out of COVID.
COVID actually,
and everyone's
really tamped it down.
Messed it up.
They never got into the habit of going to see a band. And you don't have to see a band all the time, but I think it should be part of your entertainment dollar.
It's part of the American culture for sure. It's part of Americana to go out and see a band on a Friday night.
Right. So Europe seems to have recovered quicker than the U.S. Like I know a lot of bands that go to Europe and tour successfully, and it's every community has a good venue, and it gets supported, and people go see the bands. So I'd like to help fuel that scene again. When I opened the original Chameleon in 1985, I was 22, 23 years old, and the scene was kind of dry. The Village was in town, but that was about it. And I said, we can do better. And the Village was doing one band a week, Tuesday through Saturday. So I started bringing in
residencies.
Yeah, that was just a thing you could do. A band would play a week in Lancaster, a week in Atlantic City, a week. So we broke that mold and started doing 2, 3, 4 bands a week, and different bands, different nights. It's a little more challenging promotion-wise, but at the same time, it keeps it fresh. And we grew the amount of people that would go see bands, and I think you're going to start seeing that again. That's the goal, is to grow that aspect of it.
I think it is slowly coming back. I think Americans are still kind of on the COVID era of like, wow, I can actually go home and do nothing. That's nice.
Right.
Sometimes.
So,
especially economically, right?
Right. I mean, older people will still go see bands, but there's some great young bands coming up.
There are.
And I just saw a band called Lawrence, and I highly recommend them. They were just I saw them before this, but they were on the Tonight Show, and they killed it. And they're out of New York City. Female lead, and her brother's on piano. But, I mean, just so much energy and such a great band. So it's a family name. Their last name is Lawrence. And 3 of the people are in the band. But the video I saw had 19 people on stage, and it was amazing. They recorded it in a studio, and it was just phenomenal show. So, and so that excites me that, there's people out there putting out great music, and, now we just got to bring it to Lancaster and let people see it.
100%.
Yeah.
So, I've got a few more other questions for you, and then we'll wrap it up.
Great.
For today. So, what is one thing that you have yet to do that you still want to do?
Oh, promote the Rolling Stones at my club.
That would be a career capper.
Yeah.
You could do that, and then say, I'm done. That's it for my life.
Carlos Santana, that'd be good. I'd go with that too. But, I live, it's exciting. You just don't know where it's going to come from. But once in a while, you just get a show that's just so good. And it could be a new young band. It could be an older band. But all the stars align. The crowd's ready for it. The band is having a career night. And it happens. And, it's magic. You're literally watching magic. And, I mean, I can feel good about it because I helped produce it. But anybody who's in the room that night goes home and 20, 30, 40 years later still talks about that night. And I have done those shows, and I still run into those people. And those people are excited as all get out that I'm bringing back the Village. So hopefully I will not disappoint, and we can do that again. So
Well, there you go.
Yeah. What else you want to ask?
There's so much I could ask, right?
Right.
What is something about the music industry that you would like people to know? They would like the average music goer to know.
Wow. I mean, I just wanted to be part of people's like to know. I mean, you're watching. It's art. It's an art form.
Yes.
Like if you go to an art gallery and look at paintings on the wall, that's an art form. But this is live music. It's a little bit like live theater, Broadway or at the Fulton, where there's some risk. There's some shows are going to be better than others, but and maybe you don't know this band, or maybe you don't know much about this band. That's part of the fun. It's part of the process of exploring and learning. So I would want people to know that, if you're going to pay $1,000 to go see an established artist in a big stadium show where you know everything about them.
Yeah, right.
Well, go pay $10 to see an unestablished artist, because all those established artists that you're paying big bucks to go see started out as unestablished artists. And there's nothing for me more exciting than seeing a new band that is just phenomenal, or just discovering a band. They don't necessarily have to be new. Like I'll book at the festival, we have bands that have been touring for 20 years and they never had the commercial radio hits.
Right.
But they're phenomenal bands, just great musicians.
Successful.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they work, they're making a living, but they're not a household name.
No.
But the quality is through the roof. Yeah.
Are you going to bring back the recording studio or the TV show? What do you think?
The TV show, there's actually some discussion, actually for the festival. But because I ended up getting the Village this year, I put that discussion on the back burner. But it may, you might see something evolve out of that. So I had an intern work for me at Chameleon 24 years ago. And then he went on to become president of Tough Gong Records, which is the Bob Marley family restaurant. And then he also, his name is Matt Solotke, and he also became the executive producer of the film that came out last year on Bob Marley, earlier this year. And it became one of the biggest grossing films in the world, because, the reggae scene and Bob Marley and the Wailers, it just has such a massive impact. And the co-executive producer on that film was Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
interesting choice.
Yeah, a kid who used to work for me at Chameleon as an intern, and then he became my assistant manager, and then he went to Hollywood and started working his way up through the industry.
Right.
He was doing really, really well. But he was talking to me about doing some live streaming through the festival, because they do stuff with the big artists like the Wailers and Taylor Swift, but they'd also like to develop a live streaming platform in the blues market. So we're exploring that, but that's not happening this month. So
well, if you ever need any help with that, you know where to find help.
All right.
Right here.
Yeah. Thank you, Corey.
No, that's something I really want to push through, because people will be watching the show will know that we've just started doing live TV recordings here at the SRCC. And that is something I really want to start putting into the Lancaster market, is to have a show where people can come in live. You bring in your audience, and the way we structure it is 30 minutes of music, so that way people can come in and get a sense of what the band is. Then we do the hour interview with little music interludes in between, like very much like the show.
Right.
And people that come can ask their questions about the band, and it's a really intimate experience.
Right.
And then they afterwards they get another 30 minutes to rock out. And what we will do is we will multi-track record the set and pretty much give the band a live album.
Right.
With the cheers and all, right?
Nice, yeah.
And then, of course, they get all that's videotaped and everything else, so they can use that for whatever they want.
Right.
It's theirs.
So going back, and when I first came in today, before we were on air, you had asked me about that, or maybe you mentioned it right at the beginning of the show that I had a recording studio that won a Grammy Award.
That's right.
The studio itself doesn't win the Grammy, but we had a nice recording studio at Chameleon Club, nice 24-track digital studio back when digital was new. And one of the bands we recorded almost a month after we opened the studio, we recorded them live off the stage, was a band called Brave Combo.
That's right.
And they're out of Denton, Texas, and actually they're a rock and roll polka band, but like they're a phenomenal band.
Full circle.
Yeah, I mean they're so good. They played David Bowie's wedding.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I got that mixed up. Not David Bowie, David Byrne's wedding.
Okay.
Yeah, I love David Bowie too. But we just recorded it. My sound engineer at the time was Adam Clark, and he just ran the tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Mixed it down and sent them the CD back to Texas and said, hey, this is just complimentary for our studio. Give it a listen. And they liked it so much, they took one of the singles off. They took one of the songs off and it became a single on the record. It was actually a version of Jimi Hendrix's Purple Haze.
That's right. Yeah.
And that was the single off their album that won the Grammy Award for Best Polka Record that year. So, while we don't get a Grammy Award sitting on the, next to the console, Adam Clark is a Grammy winner. And his brother Jesse did the live sound for that as well. So they both get credited for that. So,
well, there you go.
And they're, two local guys. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And I forget where I brought that story up, but to say, so we had a TV show back then, and Brave Combo was on it. And we would record. So a band, they'd come do a show at the club, just like a normal show.
Mm-hmm.
We do a 5-camera shoot. And then we had an audio truck until we had the studio built. And we would split the sound out and do a really good mix. Because the mix for a TV broadcast is different than the mix for a live room.
Right.
Or any kind of broadcast, radio or TV. So yeah, I basically have to have 2 mixing boards. One for the venue and then one for the signal that's going out of the room. And we did that, that was what you're touching on here, and we were that series. We did it for 3 years. We were renewed for a 4th season, and unfortunately, Comcast came in and brought the network out that was showing it, and they disbanded the network, so we didn't get to do the 4th season. But we were the number 1 non-sport show on that network back then.
He's got 3 Emmy nominations.
3 Emmy nominations, yeah. So, good luck with your TV show.
Thank you. It's definitely a process I have to learn.
Yeah.
And so maybe we should talk about a little bit more about that elsewhere. That'd be fun.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it comes down to, I think whoever asked the questions, that's key. When you besides the actual musicians playing, hopefully they're playing great.
Yeah.
But then when you interview them, if you ask good questions and then edit it into a good presentable format, it's interesting to people. People like to watch that.
Yeah, and I think I'm the one obviously doing the questions. I think I don't know what do you think? Do I
that's why I've come back the second time. I mean, you approached me a couple of years ago when you were younger, and I thought, here's this kid trying something, and I loved it. And now 250 shows later, you're killing it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we're kind of wrapping up here. Do you have anything else you would like to plug in, or?
Well, just want to say, if everything goes smoothly, the Village will be open later this month. It has to be because we're using it for the Lancaster Roots.
So either way, it's going to be open.
Yeah, Lancaster Roots and Blues. And that's a big roots and blues festival, which it's basically all the genres you can think of. Rock and roll and blues and jazz and funk and soul. And,
it's a whole mix.
Yeah. We got it all. We encourage you to come. If you've never been, take a chance. Pick a night. Come for all 3.
I'll be there.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll be walking around.
All right. And that's the last weekend of September, 27, 28, and 29.
And go there because it'll be my birthday. That's why. That's my birthday. That's if you want to give me a present, go to the Lancaster Roots and Blues.
Okay. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no. Thank you so much for coming on the show. If you want to check out all the previous episodes I've done, including the previous one with Rich, where we go way deeper into the Chameleon Club and all the other things that you've done,
right.
Be sure to go over to CoreyRosenProductions.com. That's CORYROSEN Productions.com. You can find out all the music stuff I'm doing and all the movie stuff I'm doing. I've been doing, since we last talked, I've become an award-winning film composer and been doing a lot of film work. So
there's money in that business.
There's a lot of money in that business.
I just got to interrupt. One of the shows we're doing is a guitar player who used to be on my record label, Tino Gonzalez. He lives in France now, in the south of France, in a beautiful area. He's doing a live concert during the Roots and Blues weekend, the Sunday afternoon at 1:30 at Zootropolis, but he's not playing there. He's playing in Germany at 6:30 or 7:30 at night. He's doing a 1-hour concert. We're telecasting it through the internet to Zootropolis.
Really?
Yeah, and he makes his money in Europe. Certainly, he plays live, but he does a lot of film scores.
Okay.
And he's done work for a German film, an Italian film, and Swedish film. It's just such a mix. He's multilingual. He speaks at least 6 languages.
That definitely helps.
Yeah, yeah. And he's a great musician. So, but yeah, and actually, if you come see Tino Gonzalez at the festival at Zootropolis, the first 100 people through the door on that particular show get a thumb drive with 15 of his songs from Europe.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So that's just a gift from Tino. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, with all that said, come out to the Lancaster Roots and Blues Festival, end of the month here, September 27th through 29th. I'll be there. He'll be there. We'll all be there. So you should be there too. Otherwise, we'll see you guys around. Bye.
Thank you.